Alright guys, welcome to the 7th episode of the Java tiled map game series for LibGDX. And yeah, this is pretty much the last episode, I guess. And it's going to be about the object layers in tile maps and what you can do with them in code, for example. So yeah, as example, we are going to open up our map and draw some random shapes on the map and render them just because we can. We're just gonna render them. That doesn't really make any kind of sense for the game or whatever, but we are just going to render them because we are awesome. Yeah. So let's go ahead and create one of these object layers. Name it objects or whatever. And if we select this object layer here in the list, we can get some of these shape types from the top here. At first, let's draw a simple, just like this, simple rectangle. And in case you're wondering, this is automatically snapping to the grid because I enabled this option, but by default it's turned off. So for you can create whatever objects that's actually the advantage of them, that they are not like they don't have to be in this tile system, in the cells. They can move around freely. Just in my case this is not happening, but for you it should be enabled by default. So anyway, okay, I have to definitely quit this program right now. It's making too much noise. So let's draw some in here, like, I don't know, a line. And that line goes from there to there to there, and then here. Don't ask me why. Also a circle that goes like this, and some polygon that's going to be an arrow showing us the way, like this. Yeah, cool. And that's actually enough. So in the game we're just going to render, I don't know, some color where these things are. So let's save this map, move back into the project, and I always forget to clear the projects, and then I wonder why it's not working. So alright, to render these we want to use a shape render, because that is, like the name says, pretty easy way to render some random shapes. Let's call this SR, so it's shorter, and go down here, or wherever. Actually, let's go and create it here. That makes sense. Shape renderer. Then we are going to, we can actually go ahead already. We actually can. That's pretty cool. Render objects. So at first we want to get every single object in this object layer to be able to render it. So we use a simple enhanced for loop. For map object in map.getLayers.get by name objects, which is the name that we gave the layer just a minute ago. And then get objects. Like this, we have a simple loop that we can use to iterate over all the objects that we have in this layer, which is these that you can see here. So there are various types of objects. There's this polyline, there's a polygon, there's a rectangle, and there's a circle. So we need to get we need to know which kind of shape these objects have to be able to tell the shape renderer what to render correctly. We are lucky, and this is all pretty easy. So we just need a bunch of if and else statements. And then we check with instance of. So if the object is an instance of, for example, let's start with this rectangle down here. And all you gotta do is say, if it's an instance of rectangle map object, then we want to do this. Else, if object is an instance of for example, the circle map object, which would be this circle here. Pretty self-explanatory. We want to do some stuff, else if the object is an instance of the polyline here, polyline map object, we also want to do some stuff, and else if the object instance of we already got the circle. Oh yeah, there's one more. Let's put an ellipse in. I think this is also actually an ellipse object, but since there is a class for ellipse map objects and a class for circle map objects, let's separate them and create one for both. I mean, create two separate if statements for them. So if it's an instance of the ellipse map object, we want to also do some stuff. And there still is the polygon map object. Actually, let's move this a little bit because this makes no sense. We could put this here, and then we got the circle and ellipse together, and the polyline and the polygon object instance of polygon map object. For example, the arrow is a polygon. So alright, then we need a bunch of imports. There they are. And let's start with the rectangle map object. Actually, this is still having a problem. Circle map object. Okay, let's start with the rectangle map object. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get this rectangle out of the rectangle map object, because we cannot say object dot we can say get with or whatever, I don't know. Let's just get this rectangle out of this object. Sorry. Get the rectangle out of the rectangle map object. Okay, so rectangle rect equals object dot get rectangle. This get rectangle is not usually in the object, but this is just because Eclipse already knows that this has this get rectangle method because of the instance of check. And then you see, actually at first Eclipse automatically does this for us. It casts the object to a rectangle map object in order to be able to get the rectangle from it. Alright, so now we got the rectangle. Then we have to use the shape renderer to render it. So shape renderer dot begin. At first we have to say begin and what kind of shape we want to actually render. So shape type dot, and now we have three possibilities. At first filled, then line, and then point. So is a rectangle a point? Not at all. Is a rectangle a line? Well, kind of, it's got lines, but actually let's fill this rectangle. So we begin with filled and then we end for whatever type. Now the only thing that's left to do is to actually render. So the shape renderer has a bunch of methods for all kinds of shapes, and there's this one called rect. Pretty simple. We just gotta say rect.x, rect.y, rect.width, and rect.height. I typed this a little bit weird, but here rect.height, width, x and y are all just public fields in this rectangle class. So this should already allow us to render this rectangle. Let's go ahead and try it out, I guess. Yeah, let's try it out. At first I have to update the map again because the other circle, because of the ellipse that I put in, and now try it out. And yeah, we see there is a rectangle down there. It also looks a little bit like the rectangle that we define in the map, but it's definitely not at the correct position. So why is that? Also, if we move, it always stays there on the screen and doesn't move at all. So that's kind of not what we want, but the solution again is very simple. And it is to tell the shape renderer to render according to the camera that we set up to, have everything in its position and whatnot. So we have to go ahead and tell the shape renderer to set the projection matrix to camera.combined, which is again pretty much the same as renderer.setView. So yeah, I talk about this projection metrics stuff a little bit more in my other series, but really don't give a okay, I usually don't say this, but don't really care about this, because projection and view and whatnot matrices and cameras are all just maths. It's all just really confusing maths that are made by some crazy professors and whatnot. Oh god, okay? So this is just maths, and we can be happy that they put this all in this camera class. So yeah, you just need to know that the projection matrix is pretty much the way everything should be transformed to this according to this camera. And so if we move the camera around with the position, we change stuff in the projection matrix, and then we tell the shape renderer to use this projection matrix that is going to transform the image, kind of, you could imagine, that we want to display. So yeah, I hope this is okay for you guys now, but you see, there it is. That's the rectangle at the correct position. We are not done yet. At first this rectangle is white, which looks kind of shitty. Let's, I don't know, set the color to color.cyan. This is not cyan. Oh yeah, we need to restart. Okay, I prefer this one. And then we can go ahead and render the other objects. So we basically just have to do the same thing that we did here for all the other kinda shape types. So we need to get the shape out of the object, call shape renderer begin and end, and render the object in the middle. So for the circle, we could go ahead and say circle equals object.get circle, and there we are. Don't forget, this is just because of the casting that Eclipse automatically adds because of the instance object. Why can't I type? Oh, I can. Then shape renderer dot begin with shape type dot filled. Let's fill this. Is this even possible? I hope filled is possible for circles. We're gonna see. And end. So then shape renderer dot circle. All pretty simple. Just circle dot x position, the y position, and the radius, of course. And yeah, that's all we need to do. Except that we need to type it correctly, which I kind of never do for circles. Don't ask me why, I don't know it. And then we get some kind of crash. What's the problem right there? Okay, I don't care. This is working. Alright, it's working. So now we're wondering, where is this circle that we put on this block here? There should be a circle. Well, that's like what I guessed before. This circle here is actually the same as this ellipse. They're both ellipse map objects. Tiled just doesn't have opportunity way to make circle map objects. So let's go ahead and add the rendering for the ellipse map objects by getting the ellipse out of the object. Import the ellipse and call begin shape type dot filled. Let's see if filled is working. Shape renderer dot begin. Oh, I just did that. Shape renderer dot end. Shape renderer dot ellipse, and give it all the stuff it needs. Ellipse dot x, ellipse dot y, ellipse dot width, and ellipse dot height. So that's it. And there we go. Both of them are being rendered because they are both ellipse map objects. And they are at the correct place, and fill is working. So everything is great. Still, something is missing, which is this line down here and the arrow. Let's begin with the line and then the arrow. The line is of the type polyline map object because, well, as you can see, it's a polyline. So let's get the polyline called line out of the object. Then begin, and in this case, it's gotta be the shape type dot line, because there's no way to fill a line, obviously. And then shape renderer dot ellipse. What am I doing? Dot line. Actually, dot polyline. Okay. And this takes a bunch of vertices. Now this is little bit more complicated than what we've been doing before. Before we've just been giving positions and dimensions in there, but now we have to give it vertices. And this is, yeah, vertices are just this point here, this point here, this point, and this point. So we can actually just say line dot get vertices. Let's try it out and see what happens. And that is again, where is the line? Where is the line? What the hell, where is the line? So this is because the vertices are stored relative to the actual line. So for this line here, this might be 0, 0, and this might be 0, x some value, and y 0, and stuff like that. So if this is 0, 0, in the program it's going to render somewhere down here, and we don't see it. It's being rendered, but we don't see it. So let's improve this by getting the transformed vertices. And if we hover over this, we see the documentation, which is saying returns the vertices scaled, rotated, and offset by the polygon position. So this is actually what we want. It's pretty much like the vertices in the world and not just relative to this polygon itself. And there we are. Do you see the line? I hope you do. It's not really this big, but there is this polyline here, just like it should be. Now it's just the polygon map object left, which is this circle right there. So we need to get the poly equals object dot get polygon. Yep. And shape renderer dot begin. We have to take the shape type dot line here, because it looks like he isn't able to fill polygons this easily. I don't know why, but we'll just render the lines and say shape renderer dot polygon and give it the vertices again. So remember, poly dot get transformed vertices, because vertices would be relative to the polygon itself. And that's actually it. There you can see there's this arrow. Maybe let's set the line width. Is this possible or something? Set line. Okay. Flush, hashcode, line, scale, whatever. Oh, I know how it's possible. We can go like gdx.gl.gl line width and then say 3. And then we have to restart it. Yeah, now this is a little bit better, bigger lines. So yeah, there we go. We have this shapes, this map objects, rendered onto the game screen by simply defining some map objects in the map, then getting the shape out of the objects here, getting the shape out of the object, and then just using the shape renderer to render it. Pretty simple thing, but the cool thing about these map objects is that you can do pretty much anything with them, because they don't have to be in this tile system like you see here. This diagonal line would not be possible in tiles, and yeah, you can do anything with it. For example, you can save the map with some enemies at whatever positions, saved as map objects. You can create some map objects and then create box 2D bodies and whatever, and exactly that position. And you can basically just do everything with map objects that you can't do with tiles. So in case the tiles are not enough for you, use the map objects. And now I'm just going to do some self-advertisement here and show you this other thing here. Well, I actually use this to create some map objects in here, which are then going to be like passed or converted or whatever you want to say to box 2D bodies and fixtures and joints. So let's close this map, go into my other project and see what is in the splash. Oh, it's already correct. So now I'm going to show you the map. Maps test. So I got this test map right here, and I defined some some objects, like for example this polyline here, this polyline here on the ground, this polygon and another polyline, and yeah, this ball. And then I went ahead and set some properties on them. If they were just, yeah, I set some properties to them, like the body type, the density, linear velocity, restitution. That's all box 2D stuff. If you don't know box 2D, don't care about this. You can basically quit the video right now if you don't know box 2D. But anyway, I just set some box 2D properties on them, and then discard. Use this to create the correct box 2D objects, which is, in my opinion, pretty cool. And let's just go ahead and try this out. Source main. And what happens? There we are. This car is added by me. This has nothing to do with the map. But you see that there is box 2D going on this map, passed from the map objects. Here's the ball cage, the ground, the joint that is holding this kind of triangle here. And this just shows off the possibilities that you have with map objects. Yeah. Now for the self-advertisement part. If you want to know how this can be done, I'm not sure if I want to tell you, because look at this. You can basically figure it out yourself if you know box 2D. And this is just really a lot of code, so it would be kind of painful to explain this to you in an episode, I guess. Anyway, you can download this box 2D map object parser on some thread that I made. Like, go ahead and go to java gaming.org, go into shared code. And then there is this topic that has been greatly ignored with 0 replies at 610 views. I don't know why. But anyway, there is this topic here, and you can just download the box 2D map object parser or its source. So if you want to use this in some project, yeah, go ahead and try. If you got any questions and if it doesn't work or something, ask me. And maybe we are going to use this in the main series. But whatever, just tell me your opinions or something. I'm going to put this link in the description. Have fun with your map objects and drawing them on your map, or so whatever you want to do with them, because everything is possible. You're a programmer. And yeah, have a good day, and thanks for watching. And oh yeah, this series is actually over right now, so I want to thank you for watching this whole series. I hope it helped you out in some way. And yeah, now seriously, the episode is over. Oh my god, I'm talking so much crap. Yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.